Okay, we're still in exercise set 69, and we're doing problem number 16. Again, it's like almost like I'm saying each time we do a problem, read it, get a piece of paper out, and try to work the problem, all right? What's your goal? To get a system of equations down, and then to solve that system of equation, and then to answer the question, all right? So I'm going to say hopefully you're capable of, getting through that, and if you are and you're matching my answers and you have no further questions, that's fine. There's no real reason to watch these videos. Now, why do I prepare a video, though? For those students that need someone at the whiteboard talking through the problem, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the whiteboard, like a piece of paper and pencil for me, and let me get my pen out. And again, I'm going to tell you what problem we're doing. A problem doing 16 exercise. Let me blow this up first of all. Push that up a little bit. We're doing problem number 16, exercise set 69. And what does it say? A rectangular piece of cloth. So what I'm going to do is put this over here, a rectangular piece of cloth, sort of like this. And, it talks about the length and the width of it. So I'm going to say X is the length of it and Y is the width of it. And what happens to it? It gets wet and it shrinks. All right, I'll put this over here. Now, granted, I'm not saying these are scale, but it's enough for me to understand there's a shrinkage here. So what does it say? A rectangular piece of cloth shrinks 1/6 of its length. So what does that mean? Its new length would be 5/6 if it shrank by 1/6, all right? And then it goes on to say its width has also been losing 1/12 of it, so it's going to be 11/12. All right? So again, reading the first sentence, rectangular piece of cloth, when it's wet, it shrinks. It's affecting both its length and its width. If the area is, now they're talking area. Let's write this down. So the area, I'll say area of 1 is xy. And the area of this guy over here, I'll call this 2, is going to be 5/6 of an x times 11/12 of an x. I'm sorry. I just noticed I wrote x down twice, and I got to correct this. But I'm glad I'm correcting as I move along. And you should too. When you make a mistake, get your eraser out and correct it. Don't say, it doesn't matter. It does matter. And it's great if you can correct your errors, all right? All right, so let's write A2 down a little bit differently. I'm going to say this is 55 over 6 times 12 is 60 and 12, 72, xy. All right, I'm going to go back and read it again to you. It says the area is diminished by 10 and 5/8 square feet. So let's write this down. So the area has been diminished by 10 and 5/8. All right. Now, mixed numbers really, in the English language, are fine, but in algebra, they're really nasty. All right, so I'm going to write it a little bit differently. XY, we're still in the area. This is going to be what? That'll be 85, right? 85/8 equals 55 over 72 xy. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to rearrange it to make it a little bit easier for me. And this is going to be xy minus 55 over 72 xy is equal to 85/8. And I'm going to multiply both sides by 72. And what do you get? You would get 72 xy minus 55 xy. And let's see, if I multiply by 72, right? I'm multiplying by 72. What would you get? You get 9 times 85. All right, let's keep doing it, see what I come up with. Hoping for something really easy, by the way. 72 minus 55, that's 17xy, isn't it? And then 9 times 85. And xy, I'm going to divide both sides by 17. So 17 goes in 85 5 times. So xy is equal to 45. So I kind of boiled it down to something pretty simple, but I want to go to the next thing. And they're talking about, in the next part of it, they're talking about, perimeter. It says, if the area is diminished by this, and it goes on, it says the length of the four sides has also been diminished by 5.5 feet. So what's the length of A1? Well, the length of this one, I'll call it P1, is going to be 2x plus 2y. And the length of of the second object is going to be, let me pull this over, it's going to be 2 times 5/6. There's 2 of those sides, right? So that's 5/3 of an x. And then 2 times 11/12 would be 11/6 of a y. So again, it says the perimeters are diminished, right? So what do you get over here? 2x plus 2y. And it's been diminished by what? By 5.5 feet. Again, it's a mixed number. What do you get over here? 5/3 x plus 11/6y. Well, I got to clean it up a little bit, and I'll write this down for you. 2x plus 2y minus, well, 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11, so it's 11/2. 5/3 x plus 11/6 of a y. I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. You get 12x plus 12y minus 33 equals 10x, and again, multiplying by 6, 11y. Well, I'm going to kind of simplify it if I can. Now, what do you get? Well, you get 2x plus y is equal to 33. All right, now the question is, what are you going to do? And I really want to claim that mistakes do happen, but I'm just hoping things work out really nicely for me. I'm getting kind of 2 simple equations at this point, and I want to use those 2 simple equations to solve both x and y. All right, let's write this down. So I'm going to say y is equal to 45 over x. I'm going to plug it in here. What do you got? 2x plus 45 over x equals 33. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by x, and you're going to get 2x squared plus 45 equals 33x. 2x squared minus 33x plus 45 is equal to 0. Well, I'm gonna try to factor, but if I can't factor, I'll go with the quadratic formula, and I'll write this down. If it factors, it's going to be easy to factor. If it doesn't factor, I'll have to use some other technique then. I'm going to say 15 and 3 minus. Let's see if that works. You get 2x squared. That works beautifully. Minus 30, minus 3, minus 33. Get 45. So what are my answers going to be? X equals, and I'm looking at that, and one step at a time. So I'm going to say x could be 3 over 2, or x could be 15. Now, granted, there's 2 answers here I got to worry about, and so I'm going to write down, 15 is easier for me to do, by the way, and we're looking at this over here. What would y be? Y would have to be 3. And over here, what do I have to be? Well, I got to do it. So it's going to be 45 divided by 3 over 2, which is the same thing as 45 times 2/3. And what's that going to be? That would give me 30, all right? So, the bottom line is I got 2 answers here, and I don't even remember the question, but the first answer is going to be 3/2, comma 30, and the second one's going to be 15, comma 3. So these are my 2 solutions that I'm getting. And I want to see, if they're making sense. All right, so I gotta go back and remember what x was, and x was the length, and this was the width. This is the length, and this is the width. Well, I gotta be honest with you, in the English language, the only one that makes sense to me is 15, comma 3. The reason being, if I saw an object like this, and I wouldn't say the width of it is 30. I would say the width of it is 1.5. It's the length of it's 30. All right. So I'm going to say it's a 15 by 3. I'm sorry. All right, 15 by 3. And let's take a look, and let's see if we got it right. Yeah, we got it right. We did good. All right. Now, granted, I realize nowadays that both of those answers may be accepted as correct. And some people say length and width really doesn't matter, but I think in the English language, and again, I could be wrong about this, the length is the longest part, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that case, right? This is generally the length, and this is generally the width. But again, you might say, technically speaking, that doesn't have to be the case. All right? All right, so thank you for paying attention. I do appreciate it.